let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. Or more specifically, let's talk about the Browns' eternal quarterback crisis. Because somehow, even in 2025, this team still can't escape the haunted carousel that is their QB room. You think they'd have figured it out by now. But nope. Another season, another storm, and this time, it's different. Because buried beneath the noise, the veteran fumbles, and one particularly reckless rookie interview, there's a new name quietly rising. Shedeur Sanders. And he's not just any rookie. He's football royalty. He's carrying a legacy.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
And whether the franchise is ready or not, he's about to become the face of the Cleveland Browns. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, you need to understand just how bad things have gotten, and why the Browns' latest quarterback controversy is less of a debate and more of a slow-motion implosion. So here we are, Joe Flacco. Yes, still. Somehow. The man who was once dubbed elite by a hopeful internet meme back in the 2010s is now being trotted out like a vintage car that keeps stalling at every red light. The Browns brought him in for stability, a seasoned veteran, Super Bowl winner, calm under pressure. But what they got instead? Turnovers, fumbled snaps, missed reads, and a growing chorus of fans wondering, why are we still pretending this is working? To be fair, it's not all Flacco's fault. The Browns' QB situation has been cursed since their last championship in 1964. That's pre-Super Bowl era. Do you know how many quarterbacks have come and gone since then? Actually, don't try to count. It's depressing. From top draft picks that flamed out to journeymen who passed through like bad Tinder dates, Cleveland has spent decades trying to find the one. So when the Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders, people paid attention. Not just because of his name, although yes, being Deion Sanders' son comes with its own gravitational pull, but because Shedeur showed something different. Not just talent, which he has in spades, but composure. And in Cleveland, that's rarer than a winning season. Now let's pause for a second. Because while Shedeur has been quietly preparing, another name has been very loudly inserting himself into the conversation. Dillon Gabriel. A fellow rookie. Scrappy, vocal, with a chip on his shoulder and a tendency to say the quiet part way too loud. If you missed it, Gabriel recently dropped a quote that lit up the sports media cycle like a 4th of July firework. We're supposed to be competitors, not entertainers. A not-so-subtle jab that many took as a swipe at Sanders' flashy style, his branding, his calm media persona. And oh boy did that backfire. Because in this new era of the NFL, being media-savvy isn't just a bonus, it's essential. You can't separate football from the narrative machine anymore. Instagram, post-game pressers, highlight reels, endorsement deals, it's all part of the game. And Shedeur? He's mastered it without saying a word. That's what makes him dangerous. Not just the arm. Not just the poise in the pocket. It's the restraint. The silence. When Gabriel made that comment, Shedeur didn't clap back. He didn't subtweet. He didn't even blink. He just kept working. Kept prepping. Let the storm rage around him. And that silence? It spoke volumes. Because here's what's really happening. Shedeur Sanders is playing chess in a room full of checkers. While others are scrambling for attention or panicking under pressure, he's positioning himself with discipline, confidence, and a kind of mental armor that you just don't see in most rookies. Meanwhile, the fans are done waiting. They've seen Flacco's last hurrah. They've heard enough from Gabriel. The calls for Shedeur are turning into roars. You can feel the shift. And the coaching staff? Well, let's just say they're sweating bullets behind the scenes. It's not just about talent anymore. It's about timing. When Shedeur gets the nod, not if. And everyone's circling that upcoming London game like it's the royal coronation. Because let's be honest, if the Browns trot Flacco out again and things go south in front of an international crowd, that's a PR disaster they can't afford. The pressure to unleash the new era is real, and it's closing in fast. But here's the kicker, Shedeur isn't rushing it. He's letting the chaos do the work for him. Think about that. In an era where every rookie is trying to build their brand, by shouting the loudest, Shedeur is building mystique. He's turning silence into power. Every time he doesn't respond to the noise, every time he walks calmly past a microphone, his stock rises. That's the kind of self-control that front offices drool over. And it's the kind of demeanor that wins locker rooms. Meanwhile, Gabriel? He might have just made the classic rookie mistake, confusing swagger for substance. That comment about competitors and entertainers? It wasn't just tone-deaf, it was outdated. The league has moved on. Players are entertainers now. They're content creators. entrepreneurs, culture makers. The idea that you can separate image from performance is laughable in 2025. And Sanders? He's not fighting that. He's embodying it. So when the Browns finally make the switch, and they will, it won't feel like a debut. It'll feel like a takeover. The culmination of a storyline we've all been watching unfold in real time, whether we realized it or not. That's the beauty of it. Sanders isn't just stepping into a quarterback job. He's stepping into a narrative, a franchise, a city that's been dying for a savior for over 50 years. And he's doing it on his terms. No dramatic announcements. No social media meltdowns. Just a quiet rise, built on discipline, silence, and that rarest of qualities in modern sports, emotional intelligence. And don't get it twisted, this isn't about humility for humility's sake. It's about power. The power to control the story, not react to it. The power to make everyone lean in, not tune out. It's the long game. And Shedeur is playing it like a veteran. So what's next? Well, assuming the Browns don't implode overseas, we're heading toward a full-on QB shift. The fans want it. The media's salivating. And the team, whether they admit it or not, needs it. Because you can't build a future on Flacco's last legs. And you definitely can't build it around a rookie making headlines for the wrong reasons. But you can build it around a legacy. Around a player who knows how to lead not just with his arm, but with his presence. And honestly, the Browns might have finally, miraculously found their guy. Will Shedeur Sanders be the one to break the curse? To bring order to decades of chaos? Too soon to say. But right now, in a league that's as much about perception as performance, he's doing everything right. He's calm in the storm, silent in the noise. And just like his father, he knows exactly when to strike. So buckle up. Because if you think the Browns' drama has peaked, you haven't seen anything yet. And when Shedeur finally steps onto that field as the official starter, it won't just be a QB change. It'll be the start of a new era. One built on silence, strategy, and a whole lot of swagger, delivered with 0 words and maximum impact. Let's see if Cleveland's ready. If you made it this far, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Shedeur Sanders is the real deal, or is Cleveland heading toward another quarterback heartbreaker? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next meltdown, miracle, or media circus. Because in the NFL, the drama never ends, it just finds a new face. And something tells me we're looking at it. If we're being real, this team has been stuck in quarterback limbo for decades. They've had rocket arms, dual threats, pocket passers, safe bets, and raw upside guys. None of them worked. Not really. The Browns have been through more QBs than some franchises have had head coaches. Remember Johnny Manziel? Baker Mayfield? Deshaun Watson? Some flamed out. Some fizzled. Some imploded spectacularly. It's like they're cursed by a football who said, "You shall never have stability under center." But now, suddenly, there's a glimmer. A shift. And weirdly enough, it doesn't feel manufactured this time. Let's talk about that London game again for a second. You know it's coming. The NFL loves its storylines. And nothing screams primetime pivot like a mid-season international spectacle with your new golden boy warming up on the sideline. If Flacco starts that game and the Browns fall apart by halftime, the cameras are going to pan to Shedeur so often, you'd think he was already wearing the crown. And here's the thing. He won't even blink. He'll just sit there, helmet on, calm as ever. No showboating. No frustration. Because he knows. His moment is coming. The storm isn't something he's caught in, it's something he's weathering. Quietly. Perfectly. That's what sets him apart. And meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel is busy fumbling his own bag, not on the field yet, but with his mouth. The competitors, not entertainers, quote, "Buddy." That line might have worked in 1985. Back when quarterbacks could hide behind their helmets and let their stat sheets do the talking. But in 2025? That mindset feels like a flip phone in a TikTok world. You're not just leading an offense anymore, you're leading a narrative. You're a CEO of your own brand. You're managing teammates, media, memes, and meltdowns. Gabriel tried to take a jab at Sanders' style, but he accidentally exposed the fact that he doesn't get it. Not yet, anyway. And it's wild because there was a time when that kind of attitude, grit over glitz, no-nonsense football guy energy, was celebrated. But now, it just reads like insecurity. Like a rookie who sees the writing on the wall and thinks talking louder will stop the ink from drying. Let's also be clear, Gabriel's not a villain. He's young, eager, and probably trying to prove he belongs. But there's a lesson here, one that Shedeur's already mastered. In this league, you don't win attention, you earn it. And the most powerful players? They know how to let others do the talking. That's what Shedeur is doing. He's letting the media hype build, letting the fan base grow restless, letting the pressure cook. And when it finally boils over, he'll be the cool hand that reaches in and turns down the heat. Now think about the Browns front office for a second. Imagine being the GM right now. You've got a fan base breathing down your neck, a vet who can't stop turning the ball over, a rookie who just gave the media a month's worth of content with one bad quote, and Shedeur Sanders calmly waiting in the wings like the final act of a play no one's ready for. You can't bench him forever. You shouldn't. The longer they wait, the more painful the transition becomes. Because here's what's looming. If they don't hand him the reins soon, they risk fracturing the locker room. You can already feel the tension. Players know who's got it and who doesn't. And even if no one's saying it out loud, that sideline energy, that body language, is telling the whole story. Leadership in the NFL isn't just about calling plays or yelling in the huddle. It's about presence. And right now, Shedeur has that undeniable energy. You know the kind, it's quiet but commanding. Like he's not asking for your attention, he's earning your respect just by existing in the room. And let's not ignore the elephant in the stadium, Deion Sanders. You think having Coach Prime as a dad doesn't play into all this? Oh, it does. The legacy, the expectations, the media training baked in since birth. Shedeur has been built for this. Raised to navigate pressure. Schooled in handling the spotlight without letting it melt you down. And what's even more poetic? The contrast. Gabriel tried to throw shade, thinking it made him look like the real football guy. But in reality, he just made Sanders look even cooler. Because what's more powerful than clapping back? Not needing to. That's how you win the mental game. And in today's NFL, the mental game is the game. So yeah, this isn't just a quarterback competition. It's a referendum on what kind of leader wins in 2025. Old school versus new era. Grit versus grace. Volume versus vision. And right now it's not even close. Let's zoom out for a second. Think about how this plays out long term. If Shedeur takes over and delivers, if he shows command, accuracy, and that calm confidence we've all been waiting for, he doesn't just become Cleveland's starting quarterback. He becomes their identity. He becomes the guy who finally pulls the Browns out of the mud. And think of what that means for the city, for the fans, for a franchise that has been desperate for a hero since before color TV. That's the pressure sitting on Shedeur's shoulders. And somehow, it doesn't seem to faze him at all. Because this isn't just about playing quarterback. This is about leading a narrative. And in a sport where perception is everything, he's already playing at an elite level. Meanwhile, Gabriel's still learning the rules. And Flacco? He's running out of time. Which brings us to now. The crossroads. The moment before the moment. The Browns haven't announced anything official yet. But the departure has already begun. Flacco is fading. Gabriel is flailing. And Shedeur? He's rising. Quietly. Strategically. Powerfully. So here's your takeaway. In a league built on noise, sometimes the loudest statement is silence. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is screaming confidence without saying a word. He's not just the next man up. He's the new standard. And when he finally steps onto that field, when the crowd erupts and the cameras lock in, it won't be a surprise. It'll be the moment we all knew was coming. Let's zoom in on the emotional state of the fan base. Browns fans, bless them, are some of the most loyal, long-suffering, absolutely unhinged sports fans on earth. They've been through it all. Winless seasons, botched first-round picks, locker room implosions, coaches fired faster than a microwave dinner. These are people who have earned their skepticism. Every time the team promises a new era, they've learned to brace themselves. Because that new era usually ends with a 5-12 record and a highlight reel of chaos. But something about Shedeur Sanders has them feeling hopeful. And not in the wide-eyed, naive way of past hype trains. No, this feels different. This hope is quieter, sharper. Like a fan base that's finally learning how to read the room. They've seen the warning signs with Flacco. They're over the awkward optimism around Dylan Gabriel. They're tired of watching games through their fingers. And you know what else they're tired of? Excuses. They're done being patient while coaches try to ease quarterbacks in. They're tired of hearing about veteran leadership from guys who can't make it past the 50-yard line without throwing a pick. They want results. They want progress. And more than anything, they want someone they can believe in. Shedeur hasn't even started a game yet, and he's already giving them more hope than anyone since, what, Bernie Kosar? That's how deep the drought has gone. The bar isn't just low, it's buried under the stadium. But let's not forget, hope is dangerous in Cleveland. It's the same emotion that's been weaponized against this fan base for years. Every time they think, this is it, the rug gets pulled. So if Sanders is going to take this mantle, he has to do more than play well. He has to deliver something Cleveland hasn't had in a generation. Stability. Think about that word for a second. It's not sexy. It's not flashy. But it's exactly what this franchise needs. Not another hot-headed gunslinger who goes viral every other week. Not a 38-year-old relic trying to relive the glory days. They need someone who shows up, does the work, keeps the team grounded, and, this part's important, wins. And that's what's so fascinating about Shedur's approach. He's not trying to be the loudest voice in the room. He's trying to be the most consistent. And in this league, that's how you last. Let's pivot for a second to the locker room because that dynamic is just as important as the headlines. Every NFL team has its cliques, its politics, its egos. And when you're dealing with multiple quarterbacks, things get complicated fast. Veterans feel entitled. Rookies want to prove themselves. Coaches try to play diplomat while pretending everything's fine. But here's what we've heard trickling out. Again, no quotes, just vibes. Shedur has the respect of the room. And respect in the locker room? That doesn't come from Instagram followers or being someone's son. It comes from showing up, putting in the work, and shutting up when it counts. It's in how you handle practice reps, how you carry yourself after a loss, how you talk to the O-line after they miss a block, how you respond when a teammate drops the ball on 3rd and long. And from all accounts, Shedur doesn't point fingers. He doesn't sulk. He resets. That kind of emotional control? That's leadership. And it's earned, not given. Compare that with what we're seeing from Dillon Gabriel. Now again, he's not the villain here. But his, "I'm here to be a competitor, not an entertainer" line was more than just a bad soundbite. It was a window into his mentality. And in a room full of grown men fighting for contracts, clout, and careers, that kind of performative toughness falls flat. Gabriel might have talent. He might even find success one day. But right now, his biggest opponent isn't on the field, it's his own mouth. Meanwhile, Shedur's playing 4D chess. He's not reacting to the moment, he's setting it up. Every week that passes, every throw he nails in practice, every press conference he doesn't attend, that's another brick in the foundation. By the time he gets handed the reins, there won't be any need for a QB controversy. There'll just be certainty. And let's be honest, what the Browns need more than anything right now is clarity. For a franchise that's been living in ambiguity for most of the 21st century, the idea of having one quarterback, one leader, one direction, that's revolutionary. Because here's the real kicker. Shedur Sanders is not just fighting for a starting job. He's fighting for the soul of this team. And in a weird way, it's symbolic. We're watching the death of the old-school NFL right in front of us. The era where quarterbacks were expected to be stoic, hard-nosed warriors who let their coaches do the talking? That's over. Today's quarterbacks are expected to be everything. Leaders, influencers, strategists, brand managers, mental health icons. They have to perform and market themselves. They have to win games and win the press conference. And somehow, they have to do it all while pretending none of it matters. Shedur gets that. He's not trying to fight the new rules, he's thriving in them. He knows that how you carry yourself off the field affects how people perceive your performance on it. He knows that every soundbite, every tweet, every facial expression is part of the story. And he's choosing to write his own, not react to someone else's. That kind of narrative control is rare. And it's dangerous, in the best way. Because when this kid finally takes the field, it's not just going to be a football debut. It's going to be a moment. The culmination of months of silence, speculation, and suppressed expectation. The kind of debut that makes or breaks careers. Not just his, but the coaches, the GM, the entire system around him. So what's the delay? Why hasn't it happened yet? Simple. The Browns are scared. Not of Shedur failing, but of what it means if he succeeds. Because the minute he steps in and outperforms the veterans, everything changes. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't walk that back. It's not just a change in the depth chart, it's a shift in identity. But here's the truth, that shift is already happening. The departure has already started. Joe Flacco might still be holding the clipboard, but Shedur Sanders? He's already taken the room. The energy, the expectations, it's his now. He just hasn't been officially handed the keys yet. But when he is, the Browns won't just have a new quarterback. They'll have something they've been chasing since 1964. A reason to believe. And maybe, just maybe this time, it won't end in disaster. So if you're still watching this unfold from the sidelines, buckle up. Because when Sanders finally steps on that field, when he takes that first snap, you won't just be watching the start of a rookie season. You'll be witnessing the rebirth of a franchise that's been crawling through the shadows for far too long. And all it took was a little silence, a little patience, and a quarterback who understood that sometimes the best way to change the game is to let everyone else crash and burn first. If you're still watching, drop your hot takes below. Is Shadur the answer, or are we about to witness yet another heartbreak in the making? And hey, subscribe if you love football drama, quarterback chaos, and watching the old guard get swept away by the new wave. Because one thing's for sure, the Browns' meltdown era may be over, but the Sanders era is just getting started.